Hi, I'm Lois.
And I'm Stacy.
And you are listening to Whose Girl Are You? Today we're going to talk about something fun, and we have asked all of our listeners to be involved in this conversation. I posed a question on Facebook about potlucks. What do you think of, Stacy, when you hear there's going to be a potluck?
So when I was a kid, I loved a potluck.
Did you?
Yeah, because there was just a variety of things, right? There might be some stuff that you like and you know it, right? And then stuff that maybe you'll try and you can just take one little spoonful of it and try it. And if you don't like it, no big deal. No one notices and it's like, clean your plate, you know?
Right.
But as an adult, I hear potluck and I just go, ugh, I just think more work. Honestly. It's hard enough for me to just cook for my family, and I don't know. I don't get excited about potlucks anymore because that means I have to bring something. That's horrible.
But you don't have to bring the whole meal. You just bring one dish.
That's true. It's true. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I don't get excited. I wish I got excited about potlucks, but it's like the people, okay, here's my deal. This is the reality of it. Typically, the people that decide we should do potlucks are not the people bringing things to the potlucks.
Okay.
So I think it's more of a deeper seated resentment.
Okay.
Of like, okay, you're going to ask me to bring something for you, but you are just going to pawn this off on your wife. Like you're not going to, like it seems like it's always a guy's idea to do a potluck. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm not saying all guys do that or none of the guys. I know there's some guys out there that are great and they cook and they help and maybe they're the ones that bring the potluck. Like I'm not trying to pigeonhole, but the majority, I'm just saying.
Right.
Of the ones I know. And I mean, my sphere is not that large, so.
Right.
Might just be a cultural thing.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, do you agree? In a way?
You know, I have not been to a true potluck for a pretty long time. Well, I can't say that. I haven't been to a church potluck for a long time.
So what's the last actual potluck then, when you say like?
Well, we do a potluck with our family once a month.
See, that's different.
Okay.
See, that is fun. So kind of Thanksgiving's turned into a potluck in a way, like but it's a planned potluck. So like a true potluck, you don't know what's going to be there.
Right. Our family one is a true potluck. Like we might get all desserts and that's all. Or we might get all main dishes and no dessert.
Oh, wow. That's great, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of great. So, because for Thanksgiving, what I'm saying is like, you know, I usually bring one or two things and I go, you know, to someone's house or have people over and we all divvy out who's making what. And so you don't have to make the whole meal either. So in a way, it's a potluck, but actually like, I wonder if like the definition of a true potluck is just like
bring whatever you want.
Typically there's no organization to it.
Right.
Right. And that's a little bit of the fun of it as a kid, but
yeah.
I don't know.
You looking it up?
I am.
Okay, cool.
Potluck. Used in reference to a situation in which one must take a chance that whatever is available will prove to be good or acceptable. A meal or party to which each of the guests contributes a dish.
Okay.
So it could be both, right?
Right.
But the first one's hilarious.
Yeah.
You must take a chance.
Yes.
Maybe I have a little bit of a control problem. Maybe that's really the problem. Maybe it's really not someone else. Maybe I just like.
I want to plan this.
Yeah, maybe.
So that it turns out so that we don't have only dessert to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on a sugar fast and then you're the only one. Everyone brings dessert and you're the only one that brings vegetables.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just, you don't see potlucks a ton anymore.
No.
But I think the women have silently rose up and said no. I don't know. So you want to bring it back? You want to bring the potluck thing? Like you think you like it?
I like it. Yeah. I think for the same reason that you did. You can try different things. You ever been to a potluck where something looks spectacular and you're like, oh, I'm so excited to try this. It looks so good. And then you taste it and like, I don't know, they forgot the salt or they forgot something and you're like, ooh.
It's all presentation.
Yeah, it's all appears to be really delicious, but isn't.
Yeah. Or the opposite. You ever have something that actually doesn't look that great, but that tastes delicious? Like,
yes.
You know, one of the things that I think is it's so bad for you, but it's so good. I call it football food. You know, those little tiny rye breads that you can get at the deli at certain times of the year. You can't always get it. It's these tiny little, and you make a mixture of spicy sausage and hamburger and Velveeta cheese and Worcestershire and a bunch of spices and whatever. And you put it on there and it just looks like a little bit of a pile of barf on a little piece of bread, but it tastes delicious.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you like broil it. Oh,
yeah. All presentation.
No presentation on that one, but delicious.
Looks terrible, but the ones who know, it's gone.
Yeah.
They eat it.
You know, that's why the Bible says you can't, you know, don't judge people off of like what you see, right?
Right. Don't judge potluck.
You whitewashed tombs who are like so perfect on the outside, but full of dead man's bones.
Oh boy.
Don't judge the potluck thing.
Exactly.
So the question you posed though it was kind of funny to sit down and read through all of the comments on it.
Yes, it was fun.
So did you see any reoccurring theme?
There were such a variety of answers on there.
I was shocked when I got quite a ways down on the list before someone piped up, and I think it was Eva, and piped up and said, "Did anyone say Nisu?" And I thought, I don't think so.
I know. I thought so too. There were multiple potato dishes, whether it was scallop potatoes.
Oh yeah, we love potatoes. Finns love potatoes.
Yeah, bread and potatoes.
Bread and potatoes. Oh, that's what I saw too. I saw a lot of bread. Like, everything. This kind of bread, that kind of bread, all kinds of bread.
Exactly.
And I don't disagree. And a lot of them made sure to specify, I think Christine specified with a lot of butter.
Yes. Yes.
A
few people said that too.
A few made sure that the butter was included in there because bread with no butter, I mean, what is that even?
Right. I loved Carmel's, the entire contents of the Spruce Grove Apostolic Lutheran Church potluck, both main food line and dessert table. You know, the whole church. That's the church that she grew up in. And, you know, I mean, that's what you think of, right?
Well, that's just interesting if you think about it, because whatever it is that you do grow up with in times of loneliness or grief or anxiety or whatever, you tend to go back to, like, that's very comforting for you to eat the foods that you grew up with that are really familiar to you. I don't know what the deal is with that. There's got to be a study out there.
Yeah.
They study everything.
Yeah.
But you notice that people, that's what they call it, comfort food. Comfort food is the food you grew up with.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, someone put, boy, us Finns, we have some delicious foods. And honestly, so I've tried to broaden my cooking horizons over the last, couple decades. And I'm sorry, but the Finns honestly are sort of lacking. Like there's not a lot of flavor to the foods. And when you start really looking at, it is a lot of breads and potatoes and fish and meats and like just really solid kind of meat and potato type of simple meals. Don't you think?
Well, that's so funny because the people who are saying this is their comfort food are the people who like have claimed on here that the Finns make the best food. Our heritage, our culture, whatever.
Yeah.
They go to another potluck and they're like, this ain't so good.
Right.
So it must be a matter of opinion.
Right. Because if a Greek went to a Greek potluck, They'd be like,
Right.
this is the best food. Like the Greeks have the best food.
Right. Right.
Or whatever. And I don't know. I like Finnish food. Like I like meat and potatoes and bread and all of that. I like all of that for sure.
Yeah.
And I make stuff like that. But also, like, what about the Italian food and the Chinese food and all the other food? Like, it's so good. And so Mexican food and all the spices and the curries and you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a lot more flavorful than what we grew up with.
Right.
Like most Finns, and I'm not kidding, their spice cabinets are dire.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure.
Like, I've looked in people's spice cabinets before, because like I'll be staying at their house or something. I'm like, oh, I'll cook such and such or whatever. I'll cook lunch or breakfast or whatever. And I'm like, where's your spices? And they're like, oh, cabinet to the left of the stove or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I open it up and I'm like, salt, pepper, cinnamon,
Garlic
paprika,
powder.
garlic powder, onion powder. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
if that, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them can just like do fine as long as they have butter, salt, and pepper.
Right.
That's what they use on everything.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't give a lot of variety though.
it's not a lot of variety, no.
No.
But there was some stuff listed on the potluck thing that I don't think I've ever had.
Wow.
They were talking about, what were they talking about? I have to look it up now. Oh, I laughed so hard at Meredith's Kraft macaroni and cheese post.
Wasn't that great?
She grew up in a health nut home and was never allowed to eat processed foods like that. And so when someone made a big thing of Kraft macaroni and cheese, she said that. What did she say? That fake cheesy goodness, she calls it. I died.
So her sister is gluten-free, dairy-free.
Okay.
And so she dreams of eating that.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know? Like, oh, so that's another whole thing to navigate is food allergies at a potluck. That would have to be really difficult. Like just bring your own basically, right?
Right.
Because what do you do with that? I mean, gluten-free, dairy-free is one. There's, my granddaughter for some years had a peanut allergy and thank God she outgrew it. But that's even worse than gluten-free, dairy-free. Like some of those would be really complicated.
Well, let me tell you this. A potluck is a nightmare for a type 1 diabetic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
It's a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause how do you know what's in there?
Maybe that's another thing that turned me off to them.
Yeah.
You try to count your kids' carbs with that.
Yeah.
So you basically are looking around being like, anything here kind of carb free-ish? Like,
Yeah.
And, not
Probably
all the
not.
potatoes we have.
Right. And then hidden, like, you can do like meatballs or something, but you find out it has a really sugary sauce on it or something. That's,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not what it appears to be.
That's what I should have put. There's a recipe they're called wedding meatballs or world's best meatballs.
Mhm.
Those things are delicious and they're so easy, right?
Tell me, what is it?
I am a cheater with them though. This is also football. This is also football food.
Okay.
Football food is just like hors d'oeuvre kind of snacky,
Yeah.
bad for you food. So it's like frozen meatballs, the little tiny ones, frozen meatballs, dump them in the crock pot with a whole thing of grape jelly and a whole thing of like a big
Mhm.
bottle of like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue
Yep.
sauce or whatever. And you just mix them up and like let them simmer for 4 hours.
Yes.
And they taste like you spent a ton of time on them, but you really didn't do anything.
Yeah. I haven't heard them called that, but yes, I've made those and I do them with raspberry as well. Raspberry jelly.
Really?
Yeah. And they're really delicious.
Just the seedless, obviously.
Yeah. Seedless raspberry.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird with the seeds. You're like, oh, is this sesame seeds?
Yeah, right? You could.
One thing that was said that I had never thought of doing, and I don't know why I've never thought of it, is Trisha put beef stew with rutabaga in it.
Yeah.
And I had a light bulb moment with that, right? I was like,
Yeah.
I love rutabaga. I love stew.
Yeah.
So next time I do stew, I'm definitely trying that.
Yeah.
So I do like, I really have appreciated the comments because I'm kind of, you know, I make a lot of the same stuff, obviously, because it's my heritage is similar.
Right.
So a little tweaks on things here and there. I like the people that are just like, I'm going to skip the whole thing and just go to the dessert table and just desserts all day long.
Eat dessert first. Life is short.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of feedback on our pasty podcast.
I am so excited about the people that took that and ran with it, right?
Yeah.
I had a few people message me, one message that her husband was throwing stuff in the group chat. Can someone run get this and that? And do you think we should get a KitchenAid or a Bosch? And right away she knew that he had listened to our podcast because she had already listened to it. But she showed up at home after running around working all day and the pasties were done and she said they were delicious. So good job. And then someone else messaged me and said that I think they had made them a couple times in their life, but they made them again and their kids were so excited because they have Youper kids, even though they're not a Youper.
Right.
And good job. Honestly.
Yeah. And I had someone tell me that they were making pasty based on listening to our podcast, but they were not putting rutabaga in it. Just had to put that out there.
I won't judge. To each their own, you know. Right. It really is just a preference.
Yeah. So I did add Stacy's recipe in the show notes for that, the amounts. Sorry I didn't do that right away to our listeners. Right. Oops.
Well, because I didn't get it to you right away either, so it's really not on you.
Well, I didn't even really think of it. It just, I don't know why it didn't. I thought of it, you know, when we were recording, but then I forgot. It was one of those, oops, forgot that.
So, before we get off of the list of all the foods or whatever.
Yeah, potluck.
That dessert that I had when I came out to see you, when me and you and Al and my husband Ed went out to eat and we got that dessert. And even you were just like, let's try that. And I kind of thought, it's going to be gross or weird or whatever. And it was my favorite. Like I dream about that. Like if I ever see that on the menu somewhere, I'm getting it.
Yes.
And what was it? It was like a bourbon
brown
bacon.
sugar, bacon. What?
Ice cream, coffee. No, not coffee. What kind of ice cream?
It was bourbon brown sugar ice cream, I think.
Bourbon brown sugar ice cream
over.
See, I don't even know what it was, but you ever have something and you just think, I dream about that and I don't even know what it was called.
I know.
What restaurant was that at?
It was at Crave Grill.
In Vancouver.
And I don't think it's on their menu anymore. Maybe it is again. Maybe it is again because now it's fall. You know, maybe it's a seasonal thing.
Yeah, but
there was
brown sugar and bourbon and bacon and ice cream, just yum. Whatever else was in it.
I think it was just ice cream with
those things
with the bacon on the top.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was brown sugar bacon or if it was brown sugar.
Is there kind of some nuts in it or something too, though?
Yes, there were. Like pecans or something. Good. It was so good. It was so delicious. The best.
So that's what I would want at the potluck, but I don't want to bring it.
I did that homemade. I found a recipe for bourbon brown sugar ice cream. Yes, I did.
Did you make it?
I made it for my family. It wasn't as good as Crave Grills, which was super bummer. Yes, I did it with, my twisted bacon and chop that up and put it on top of it. You could do it with like a twisted bacon stick, just a couple, like put some chopped up, but then put
I just want to go back there. I'm going to fly out west so we can go there. And
there you go.
Tell me when it's on the menu again.
I was just going to say, I'll go down there and say, are you bringing that back for the winter?
Let me know when. I'll see if I can get a ticket.
Yeah. So 24-hour salad.
That's maybe what I didn't know. That's the one that I was going to ask about.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
My sister-in-law introduced me to that, and it is delicious. So it's fluffy. It has whipped cream in it and vanilla pudding and bananas and mandarin oranges and marshmallows. They call it 24-hour salad, but I call it like 2 to 4 hour salad because after 24 hours, those bananas are not good anymore.
Oh.
They get brown and yucky.
Yeah.
So it needs to be, in my opinion, made a couple hours before you eat and then just eat it and be done with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
so it doesn't take, I was thinking, does it take 24 hours to make it? Or you're supposed to eat it in 24 hours?
Well, I don't know why. It probably means eat within 24 hours. I don't know, actually. You might be supposed to make it 24 hours ahead, but if you're going to do that, please don't put the bananas in until right before you eat it.
So I know what the other thing was, is the discussion over fruit soup.
Yes.
So I never heard the term fruit soup.
Yes.
And then people made it sound like they took basically a fruit bowl, but then also added orange juice concentrate and mixed it up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that would like preserve whatever fruit as well, kind of, because of the acidity in it. You know how you use lemon juice for apples or whatever?
Yes.
So I wonder if you could like add the apples and all that, and then you did the orange juice concentrate. This is just what I was thinking. This is literally just my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
That it would preserve the fruit and then add any little bit of sweetness to something that might been a little bit tart in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a great idea. And someone else was just like, yeah, we just call that fruit bowl now. And I'm like, no, I think those are two different things.
Yeah, I think so too.
Anyway, someone should bring fruit soup. I'm going to look up fruit soup and kind of like research it because I bet that's what it is.
Yeah, it could be. My same sister-in-law does a fruit bowl with lime in it, lime juice. And that is really delicious too.
Yeah. So any of those acidic things like that will preserve fruit. So
Exactly.
it's kind of like, it might outlive the 24-hour salad.
Yeah, it probably would. Yep.
It's the 48-hour fruit bowl.
Yeah. There you go. 4 to 8 hour. Just put a little dash in there.
Just don't put too many berries. They fall apart.
Yeah. So, cooking in heaven came up on there too.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to cook in heaven? Have to?
I don't think we're going to have to do anything. I don't think we're going to
Get
have
to?
to do. Yeah. I think
to?
that. Yeah. I think we're going to get to if we want to.
Maybe some of us who have a challenge cooking will actually be able to like learn to enjoy it.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, what are the few things that make cooking, what takes the fun out of cooking? Think about it.
My sinful nature.
No, but what exactly? Like what particular, like, so for me, the things that take the joy out of cooking for me are time constraints. Like
Yes.
I have to do it at a certain time
Yep.
and I'm
and it has
already
to be done
tired.
at a certain time. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Pressure.
the time pressure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, and there won't be time.
Okay.
So take that off the table. Okay. So another thing that can be trying is, especially with the price of food right now.
I know.
But it's
Your
always
budget.
it's always been this way for me though, is I hate to buy, like, let's say when I was trying to learn how to cook steak, I didn't learn to cook it for a long time because I didn't want to buy these high-end cuts of meat and then turn them into leather and throw them in the garbage
Right.
because I was trying to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't learn how to cook steak until we were in such a bad place that we were on food stamps and I had so many foods what to do with it. So I was buying, I could afford that higher end meat and I learned how to cook it and I can cook it well now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I know what cuts to get and not to get and that kind of thing as well. And that's all trial and error.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, is this going to be good? I don't know. And so you add that together with the time restraint, like the financial burden of it, and then now the time as well. So then you spend the money on something that you hardly can afford, then you wreck it, and then it's time for dinner and there's nothing to eat but leather strips.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So you pull out the peanut butter and the bread and say, here, we're having peanut butter for dinner.
Right. So that takes it out. The other thing, here's another thing that will deflate anybody who's trying to cook. The people at the table complaining.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, now my family isn't complainers, so I'm not throwing them under the bus at all. They're
Right.
very like, I always take a poll and I want honest feedback. So when I make something new, I'm like, I want your honest opinion. Like, do you like it? Do you not like it? How much do you like it? Like, do you like it enough that you would love this on the menu once a week or once a month, or would you rather never see it again?
Yeah.
And it's everybody votes. So like if 4 out of 5 are like, we love this, we want it again, and the other person's like, I hate this, well, too bad, because you're going to see it on the menu again because you've been outvoted. Yeah. Now, because you hate it, like, I'm going to see, like, can I modify anything in that for you to, like, set to the side as I'm doing it? Not to add more work to myself, but, you know, it's kind of like you can make chili and everyone loves it and the one person says it's way too spicy. Well, you can pull some of that chili out of the side before you add that other spice in. So you're not creating more work. You're just, you're dirtying one more pan.
Right.
Right. But you can do that. So anyway, people at the table that, but I know this is what I hear from a lot of people though, is why am I spending all this time and energy cooking when nobody will even eat it and everyone just complains and whines about it and all they want to eat is pizza or whatever.
Yeah. Chicken nuggets.
That's not going to be a thing, right? In heaven. Like, people aren't going to be, we're not, there's going to be other, like, I don't know. It's not going to be that way. I'm
so curious how it's going to be as far as like our taste buds. Are we going to still like the same things or will we like more things?
I think we'll like more things because I think, and I don't know this. This is my own theology. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Stacy theology.
I think, I this is what I think. I think we don't know.
Right.
But I would speculate that there'll be colors there we've never seen. There'll be food there we've never seen. Right. There'll be flavors there we've never tasted. Granted, we haven't even tasted half of the ones that are here on this planet right now. Right. Because unless you're very internationally traveled. Because I was just talking to someone even over lunch last week and we were talking about Chinese food and they said, yeah, but they've traveled a lot and they said the food that they don't like the most is Chinese food in China. They like Chinese food in America, but they're like, it's not even the same food. Right. So you can think you like Chinese food and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to China. And then you're like starving because you hate all the food there.
Right.
We've Americanized a lot of the foods here. So like, don't think you like know all the food things because you've gone to the Mexican restaurant and the Italian restaurant and the whatever. Like, you know what I mean? If you haven't been to Italy and China and whatever, I don't think we've experienced all these flavors. Right. But even if you have, I think there's going to be other stuff there that we've just never got to experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
And then there's going to be so many people willing to help because they're not going to be too busy because there's no time. We say that we have no time now, but like really heaven is no time. Yeah. So they'll be willing to teach us and show us and how fun will that be? If that's something you enjoy, if you like learning how to combine things and make things but I think we're made to create, whether it's your artistic or your musical or your culinary or your, like, we're all made to create. Yes. And here on earth, he's made us that we can create, even biologically, we create, like, other human beings. People, yes.
And that's, I think, part of being made in God's image. You know, God creates. He created everything. And when he made us in his image, he made us to create as well. Yeah.
Obviously semantics, like he does all of it and all of that, but still exactly. Any of us that have had kids know, like, we're doing some of the work of it. Yeah. Well, and the creative, labor of it. Yeah. The creative bent or desire. Yeah, exactly. The desire to create and the desire to explore. I think we all have it to some degree. Some of us more than others. You know, there's some severe introverts that are more than happy to keep their exploration and whatever in a very small sphere. Yes. But like, and so we all have it. We all have it. It's just to like, what degree do we have it? Right. So yeah, I think there is going to be I know someone said, well, you know, the marriage supper of the Lamb is probably metaphorical. And maybe, but I don't see why it would be. Right. Yeah, so that brought up the whole thing of, will we have to eat? Like,
will we eat for nutrition or will we eat for,
Yeah.
Enjoyment? Right.
I lean toward enjoyment because we'll have a heavenly body. I don't think we're going to process the same. Our heavenly body, I think, is going to be different. It'll still be us. We'll still know, I'll still know it's you. You'll still know it's me, all of that. But it's still, I don't think we're going to look like this exactly. We'll know in a different way of knowing, truly know each other.
Right.
But not necessarily we're going to have gray hairs and wrinkles and whatever.
Right.
So we might also not, and this is total speculation. All of this is total speculation, right?
Yes.
But so it makes me think what if even though we eat, maybe we don't have to defecate?
Well, yeah. See, that's
because I don't want to believe there's toilets to clean up there. I have 3 toilets in this house, and I sometimes think it's too many.
Yeah, I know. Damn.
I have started outsourcing. I don't do the boys' bathroom anymore. That's their responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone wants to use that bathroom, use it at your own risk, because I don't go in there and I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, right.
I go in there a couple times a year.
Yeah, to me that would be worse than a potluck. It'd be cleaning bathrooms. Cooking for a potluck would be better than that. But maybe
I'd rather show up early and scrub the toilet and then sit down for the potluck.
But maybe it's, I don't know.
It doesn't have to be a complete thought.
I know, right?
Maybe what?
I have a hard time believing that we can eat without,
pooping.
But if our bodies work properly and there is nothing wasted,
right?
In God's economy, maybe we don't have to have a bathroom there.
I mean, it's a lovely thought, isn't it?
It
is.
A world with no bathrooms.
Yeah.
No public restrooms.
No germs. You don't have to go wash your hands all the time. Right?
Right.
I mean, maybe, honestly, no showers would actually be great. Sometimes I feel do you ever feel I really need to go take a shower, but it just sounds like so much work.
You know what? I don't actually, because I have a routine and I get up in the morning and I go in the shower. That's just every single day of my life.
Really?
Yes. I actually shouldn't say that because I'll take it back. A few days ago, there are very, very specific times when I don't go in the shower in the morning. A few days ago, I was going to go out and work in the garage. And I'm like, I'm going to get a haircut. So I'll just get dressed, put my work clothes on, go work in the garage, come in, take my shower then, and then go get my haircut.
Mm-hmm.
So there are literally those kinds of times when I don't take a shower.
Okay.
First thing.
Growing up, was that what you were taught or your habit or whatever?
Yeah, just I don't know. It's been forever. I don't know if it was growing up. Growing up, I didn't, because growing up, you took a sauna shower, sauna, whatever, bath on Saturday night and, maybe one other time during the week. But otherwise, you just cleaned up the, areas that needed cleaning. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can remember from as far back as I can remember, I remember fighting my mom about taking a bath or a shower.
Yeah.
Always my whole life. I remember knowing that I was going to have to, and cutting my fingernails and toenails, okay? And so I remember, she was just after such and such, you're getting your butt in the bath and we're cutting those fingernails and toenails or whatever. And so I must have been pretty small if my mom was giving me a bath, right?
Right.
And I went and hid in the woods out in the back of my house. And she was screaming for me to come in. She knew she wasn't screaming worried. She was screaming
get in here.
Lynn, get in the house. I know you're out there type of thing. And I stayed out there until it got dark and I got scared and then I went in and then I had to take a bath and then I also got hollered at about it and whatever. So it all happened anyway, but so I like to take a bath though. I like to soak in the bath and read a book.
Yeah. See, I don't ever. We've actually had 2 houses now. We've built 2 houses. And both of our houses have a spot for a jetted tub or a soaker tub or whatever. And neither house has the tub actually in it. It has a spot for it, but we didn't put it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a sauna?
No. I take a shower.
Yeah, I know, but like there's all this research out there that says like it's really good for a person to not exercising just because of heat wise or whatever. It's good 2 to 3 times a week to sweat for 15 to 20 minutes, whether it's in a sauna or a hot bath or whatever. Right. Something about toxins and this and that, and it helps to regulate this and that. I don't know all the research. I read it and then I go, yeah, that makes sense. And then I do it. And then someone asks me why. And I'm like, I don't know. I read something somewhere at some point that
I like saunas.
Yeah, I love them. I want one.
We talked about building one at one point, but the one I wanted was, I know I would never use it. I know I would never use it because the one I want is wood fired. It has an old kerosene lamp in it.
You want to go back to your childhood?
Yeah. No, my childhood, I didn't even have that. My childhood.
So why do you want a wood fire? Well, okay, so where's this wood-fired kerosene lamp come from?
Actually, wood-fired was always a thing.
Okay, yeah.
We did have a wood-fired. My dad had a wood-fired at his house and a electric at the shop. So he had, options. But there was a sauna in my childhood that had the hot water tank on the stove and the cold, large metal garbage cans with the cold water in it where you had to mix your water in pans, no running water, just a cold hose outside, to refill. Mm-hmm. And I think there was electricity in it. I can't remember. I'm like, was it seriously kerosene lantern?
That had to have been just a summer sauna then. Because so in Upper Michigan, we have, a lot of people have summer saunas and winter saunas. I don't know if you know this. Because the summer sauna is like it's away from the house. It's its own small building. And that's where you have the hose and the no running water and all that. And you fill your pans and it's wood fired and you do all that.
Yeah.
The winter sauna typically is attached to the house or in the house because it helps to heat the house at the same time that you're taking the sauna. Yeah. But you don't want to use those in the summer because it's too hot and most people don't have air conditioning. So just like they had summer kitchens.
Yeah.
I think it might be a poverty thing. Sounded like a luxury thing as a child. It might have just been an efficiency for rural peoples.
This was a summer and winter sauna.
Because wouldn't the hose freeze?
No, you had to roll the hose up and drag it in the house or in the wherever, somewhere heated. You had to drag it in and out every time.
In the snow.
In the snow.
Forget it. No thanks. Yeah. I don't know how we got on this, but...
Okay, let's go back to potluck.
Well, we got on this because we were talking about in heaven if we're going to have to physically...
No.
Like,
are there going to be saunas
like,
in heaven? Ask any Finn if there will be a sauna in heaven.
They hope so.
They hope so.
But I'll end with this. I think that as I'm listening to myself talk about it, it's not that I don't like to take a bath or that I don't like to take a shower. It's the thought of all of the things. I don't have a lot of tolerance for beauty prep.
I don't either.
The whole shaving and conditioning and this thing and that thing. And I just, that's where the work comes in. Like if I just had to hop in the shower and be like, oh, this feels good and hop out, I don't have a problem with that. It's just, I feel like it takes so much time and then I have to blow dry my hair because mine doesn't look nice like yours if I just let it air dry. Mine turns into this frizz bomb. So I have to, I can't just hop out of the shower and just roll on with my day like you. It takes me another 30 minutes to make sure all my rest of my stuff's put together.
It's so funny because, everybody wants what they don't have. My hair just lays here. It just lays here. Mm-hmm. And, there are other people that are like, oh, I would give anything to have your hair. And I'm like, yeah, it just lays there.
But it looks nice.
Well, some of us who have hair that just lays here want something that you could curl and it actually holds it for more than 2 seconds.
Oh, right.
Because, you curl it and you walk away and you're like, I thought
Okay.
you were going to curl your hair. Oh, I did like 15 minutes ago and now it's straight again.
So in heaven, if someone wants to, if our heavenly bodies do have hair.
Some people who are bald say, God made only a few perfect heads and the other ones he gave hair.
Right.
Maybe our heads will all be perfect in heaven and none of us will need hair.
Maybe there's no hair. There's no shaving. There's no curling. There's no hair.
Maybe.
Let's go with that. Yeah, I don't know. I like to think that maybe it's just a wrong thought about it, but it's like I almost assume that heaven is all pleasure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's accurate.
So look at the garden, right? Adam's garden and Eve's. They were given the task, if that's what it was, of tending that garden.
Yep.
But there were no weeds.
Right.
There were no thorns and thistles. There were no poisonous, gonna reach out and kill you plants.
It was just a joy. What they planted grew
But was there still work involved?
Yeah, but see, work, I think anyone knows this. We all have something that we like.
Yeah, pleasure.
There is some kind of pleasure in something, right? And if you really look at it, there's some sort of work as a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives us this sense of accomplishment or this just using the abilities that God gave you. I think it makes you feel like you're being the image bearer. That's who we are, right? And so the parts that he gave us that are untainted by human greed or whatever, that are just, this is how heaven, I think, is going to be like, so we're all created in his image and we all have these certain things, but then we also have this baggage and these triggers and this damage and these wounds and you know what I mean? We've been through some stuff.
Yeah. Because we have a sinful nature.
Yeah. But there we won't.
Right.
So it'll
that
just
will be restored. Truly God's
who
image.
we are.
Yeah.
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 And it doesn't, and we're all we all reflect that. And that doesn't mean we're all the same. We're very diverse and we'll stay diverse, I think.
Yeah. I think so too.
We'll reflect that.
But without
any tainting.
Right. Without my impatience or without my, tendency to get angry about something or whatever.
Yeah.
It won't be there. And I can't even fathom a world like that, but it's gonna be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the marriage supper of the Lamb, I don't know, maybe the potluck in heaven, maybe it's a potluck. Maybe it's not.
Maybe.
But maybe it's like a ongoing, always there, and you can go anytime you want, like a buffet on a cruise.
Yeah. That's just 24-hour buffet.
24-hour, anytime you
potluck.
Want it. There's no scarcity.
Yes. And it will have chicken pot pie with extra peas, as my friend Elizabeth said.
Yeah, not carrots as substitute.
I love it. That's one thing I do love is extra peas on, when you have dishes that have them in it. Yum.
Can't agree with that one.
You don't like extra peas? Do you like peas at all?
I mean, it's okay. I'm eating a tuna salad or something and it has peas in it. It's fine.
You just kind of scoot them off to the side?
No, I eat them. Okay. But I don't think to myself, oh, I wish there was double peas in this.
Oh, I do.
What else even has peas in it on a potluck? I guess the pot pie, if you had a pot pie.
Oh, pea salad.
Okay, let's go back to potluck real quick. Pea salad. Wait, what?
Yes. Sort of like broccoli salad, but peas?
No.
Oh, yum.
Frozen. What else is in it?
Frozen, fresh frozen peas, not cooked peas. It's cold.
Okay. What else is in it?
Onions and,
peas.
actually know. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember the recipe.
Did you ever even make it, or did you just only eat it at potlucks?
Oh, no. Yeah, I've made it, but I just don't.
I've never even heard of it. But while you look it up, I'll tell you this. And I think I've talked about this on a previous podcast, but I'm not sure. In the UP, where in my family anyway, we did potluck weddings.
Yeah.
I don't know if they planned like who was bringing what. I think they sort of did, but it was more like you bring a pasta salad, and it could be any pasta salad. You know, you bring a potato salad, whatever you want to do with that. You know, you bring a taco salad. There was a lot of salads, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they had everyone bring like all of that, and then they made like the burgers or whatever was the burgers and hot dogs or whatever. Our weddings were not like hot, like they were in a fire hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they literally pulled the trucks out.
Yes. Well, you pull the trucks out. It was the like sort of like community center area.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I guess. Yeah. But
it doubled as parking for the fire trucks because you couldn't afford two buildings.
yeah,
One for a community
center. I thought
center
it was
and one for
super normal.
Yeah.
We danced. We ate potluck, and that was the wedding reception.
Yeah.
I bet it was cheap.
And then you parked the fire trucks back inside.
Yeah. All right. What were you going to say? Pea salad? Did you find the recipe?
Salad, bacon.
Oh, okay.
Peas, bacon, cheese, like sharp cheddar or something, red onion. And then this dressing with like vinegar, sugar, sour cream or mayo, something.
It doesn't sound horrible.
It's so good.
I mean, you say cheese and bacon, and that makes anything pretty good. You know?
But it's the majority peas.
Yeah, so I'm a little on the fence, but I'd try it if it was at a potluck.
Yeah. Extra peas in things like chicken pot pie, though. So good.
So
apple pie was like apple bars, apple pie. We're kind of in that fall season of apple cooking again, and that's so delicious.
I really appreciate it when someone brings an apple, something cooked apple, because I can't eat raw apples. I have that birch allergy, so anything that mimics that birch protein, which is any pit fruits, apples, like a whole ton of things, I get like an oral reaction of pins and needles, and I can even get a little bit wheezy.
Wow.
It's just not fun.
Yeah.
Strawberries are added to my list. The list keeps getting longer and longer. And before I go to heaven, I'm not going to be able to eat anything. So it's going to be great to go to the marriage supper of the Lamb.
Yeah.
And eat everything I want. And I doubt there's any allergies there. So, cause my body will be perfected.
Right. Right. That's what I was thinking too. Gluten-free, dairy-free won't be a problem. Peanut allergies won't be a problem.
But people with birch allergies, they can eat all of those things if they're cooked, because once they're cooked, it changes the protein structure, and then you don't have the reaction. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's only if they're in their raw form.
Yeah.
So I love cooked apple things and cooked strawberry things.
Mm-hmm. You know, you were talking about different foods and like foods from different cultures and things.
Yeah.
Do you remember the post of Patty's about hamburger rice casserole with soy sauce and chow mein noodles?
Yeah.
And how it was so exotic.
So exotic.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's a kid cultural thing, though. It's like, whoa, this is like foreign food. It is. It's wonderful.
I think my mom used to make that.
So squeaky cheese. Did you have squeaky cheese growing up?
We never made it. Like, we always bought it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love squeaky cheese. Still, when I go up to that area, I always buy some.
Mm-hmm. We made it. I don't know if we ever bought it.
I mean, are cheese curds and squeaky cheese different?
Yes.
Because cheese curds are squeaky when you eat them.
I know. But
what's different?
Well, it might be, so squeaky cheese is baked.
Oh. No, I've never had that.
It's not a curd. It's in a pan and you cut it into squares, you know.
And it's just cheese?
It's like, I don't know, cream and rennet and salt and...
Rennet? What's rennet?
It's like what is rennet? Very good question. it's what makes cheese. Is it a thickener? Is it like gelatin? I don't know what it is.
I should ask my dad. When I was young,
tablets.
he worked at a cheese factory when I was young.
Okay. Rennet is a complex set of enzymes produced in the stomachs of ruminant animals.
Okay.
And it curdles the milk. So it's what makes curd or...
Okay, so we're actually getting these enzymes from the gut of a cow or whatever?
Sounds like it. It sounds
Gross.
like it.
You're going to wreck cheese for me, Lois.
Stomach lining of young cows, sheep, and goats. Cheese. No more cheese. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so squeaky cheese has rennet tablets, and I don't know. They must dissolve them because I think it comes in tablets.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeming to remember.
Maybe I wonder if they actually just produce a fake version of it or whatever. Yeah, kind of like when insulin became a thing, they used to get it from, where did they used to get insulin from?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not insulin. Maybe that's not what I'm thinking of. I haven't had enough coffee today.
I know, right?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking like heart transplants did these like pig stuff or whatever. I can't remember what that, I swear insulin. Hang on, I gotta look. Yeah, insulin from dogs.
Wow.
That's what the first one was. Insulin from canine test subjects.
Isn't that so interesting how so many of our cures or treatments or whatever, medicines, have just kind of come about in like
100 years?
Yeah. Well, but kind of experimental or accidental, like penicillin coming, when.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like by accident, sort of.
Yeah. And what a miracle that was, right? Because.
Yes. Changed the world.
My grandmother's sister died of scarlet fever because it was back before penicillin was a thing. Mm-hmm. And then when my daughter got scarlet fever when she was 5, I remember my grandma was still alive at that point, and she had heard that my daughter had scarlet fever, and she was just panicked. Yeah. And I said, Grandma, it's not a problem. Like, she can just be on an antibiotic or whatever for a few days and she'll be fine. Yeah. But she remembered they both had scarlet fever. She had it too, but she survived it and her sister died. Oh, that's horrible. Right? Yeah. Ouch. So we take these for granted now because we can literally go through a drive-through pharmacy at CVS and just get it. Yeah. But not all countries even have the access to it yet. Exactly. I was thinking of that too with we talk about all our potlucks and we're critiquing, ooh, we don't like this and we do like that and more of this, less of that. And then there's other countries where people are starving. Mm-hmm. And if they read about the marriage supper of the Lamb and. Right. They're hoping it's real food, not metaphorical. Yeah. Right. That like their hunger would be satisfied in all ways, spiritually and physically and. Yes. Did you look up, there's a couple of people who used kirkkoruoka. Church food. Mm-hmm. Did you look it up or did you know it? I didn't know it, but on the comment thing, like right underneath it, like I could just click on it and it translated. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if you translated it or not. Yep. Yep. No, I don't know it. I don't really speak much Finn at all. Just a word here or there. Yeah. My potluck table is going to have twisted bacon on it. Oh, good. Mm-hmm. Ever since I was at your house and you made that, that's how I make my bacon now. Isn't it wonderful? It's so good. It's so good. It's so easy. You don't end up with parts that didn't cook right. I know. And you can fit way more on a pan. I know. It all cooks. Maybe we'll have to do another episode just, to talk about twisted bacon. Cause I don't know that there's a whole episode. Although I love twisted bacon. I could talk about twisted bacon all day and all of its uses. I don't know what my potluck thing would be. I'd rather set the table. Can I set the table? Sure. And that's what's funny. People are like, oh, I thought you loved to cook. And I love to eat. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I love to cook because I don't live in a place where I can go to we don't have restaurants here. I mean, you can only eat so much pizza.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just going to say, you can't afford to eat out every day anyways, even if you have the restaurants available.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
So you have to kind of figure it out. So, yeah, I don't hate cooking.
Yeah.
It's a means to an end, you know. My family's pretty thankful and appreciative and doesn't really complain. Although, I mean, it's taken me decades to grow my kids up where they're not so picky and to get to a point where you figure out what's pretty semi-healthy and then also that everybody likes. Like, you got to walk that line, right?
Yeah. Did you have to cook very specifically when your daughter was diabetic then? When that happened, did your cooking change drastically from when she was diagnosed with diabetes? I
don't know if I would say drastically, but it definitely changed and it's never gone back because I realized it's just a healthier way to be. The biggest thing that changed was I had to weigh and measure everything I did for her.
Okay, yeah.
So if I was doing a recipe and the things that had carbohydrates, I would weigh and measure the entire recipe and then I would have to like do the math and like divide it. Okay, so if there's this many portions, then by all means there should be this many of this because I pre-measured all my ingredients that I needed to and that kind of thing. So it was hard, but I would take each one of my recipes and I would do all of the hard math on it like that. And then at the bottom of my recipe thing, it would say, you know, portioned into 6, one portion has this many carbohydrates. And carbohydrates is the only thing you're tracking, really. Unless it's really high in protein, then there's another mathematical thing that happens there, but not enough to really matter, I don't think.
Yeah.
So we stopped eating so carb heavy. So we got away from pastas. We still don't eat a lot of pasta. I don't deprive my family of it.
The potatoes and the pastas that are going to be all over that potluck table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We just kind of cut down on the carbs and upped on the veggies. But even with the potatoes, the girl loves potatoes. It's her favorite. Like if she had to pick one food that she had to eat for the rest of her life, it'd be potatoes. And I don't disagree. I think I could live like that too because there's so many ways to cook them. But and it's fine. And potatoes are better than pasta because anything that's made naturally, like that God created, the body breaks down in a different fashion. So even if it says this potato has 30 carbohydrates and this serving of pasta has 30 carbohydrates, they do not break down the same.
Really?
Right. So like one is going to like cause like a severe spike and then a severe drop, and the other one's, yes, it's going to raise your insulin, but it's going to be more of a steady, slow arc that goes up and down than, do you know what I mean? So it made me more realize that if I in fact put the things that God created into the body that God created, the system just worked better.
Yeah.
So, you know, when people are talking about health and they start getting really into the nitty gritty of it, these are the rules I use for my kids. I say, if God created it, you can eat it. If it came out of a factory, be careful. And I'm not saying don't ever eat it. I'm just saying be careful. Like eat that in like not very much of it, right? So God created it. If it grows, it's good. That's when they were little, that's what I'd say. If it grows, it's good.
Yeah.
If it doesn't grow, that's not going to give you life.
Yeah.
There's probably not going to be a lot of processed stuff in heaven if that's really the case. It's going to be all stuff that actually God has created. There's not going to be, sorry, whoever that was, there's probably not going to be Kraft macaroni and cheese, but there'll probably be a really better macaroni and cheese. That's really whole foods and gives life. Everything will be life-giving.
Yes. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, that's been fun talking about that.
Yes, it has. Thanks, everybody, for giving us all your input.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun to read through all of that.
Yeah.
It's so good to have lighthearted stuff. There's so much horrible stuff going on in the world, and sometimes it's good to let's just speculate and think about our future, right?
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, it's been fun. Thanks for talking.
It has been. Hey, love you like a church potluck.
Bye.
Bye.